what I want to talk about tonight is the powerful difference, because there is a powerful difference between listening to respond and listening to truly hear someone. Most people are not starving for advice. They're starving to be understood. It was Thich Nhat Hanh that said, listening or seeking to understand is one of the highest forms of love. And that applies to any relationship, all relationships. Listening to hear, seeking to understand is what so many people are starved for when they talk. And when someone opens up and shares truth, when they share what's going on inside of them, there is this moment of wanting the person listening to hear without judgment, without listening to respond, without coming back with something. When a person feels heard, when they feel truly heard, something begins to shift inside them. Their shoulders fall. Their breathing slows down and softens. Their nervous system, it starts to settle. The body moves out of defense and into safety. Have you ever noticed when you go to speak to someone, in the back of your mind, when you say something out loud, you know who you can say something to, and they will truly listen to hear you. And you've probably learned in your life who not to talk to about touchy things or serious things, because you don't want the defense. You need to be understood. And healing begins when we listen to hear. 99.9% of the time, actually 100% of the time, people don't need our advice unless they ask for it. It's the truth. People need to be heard. In my private practice, both with doing holistic body work and coaching, there are moments when a person can come to the table and share with me what is going on in their body, and maybe there are some areas they haven't talked about that I will come across, some muscular area, some joint pain area, and I will hear, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was hurting until you touched me. So doing massage and body work like that, you do run across these places, or I do run across these places. And what I have learned to do is listen to that space. And if those areas of adhesions or knots, as we call them, if they do not release, I've learned to gently ask questions. And to the person laying on the table, they may sound off the cuff. So if you're one of my clients and you're listening to this, you probably already know this because we've had the conversation. But if you don't, I never ask a question just because I need to ask a question. If I am at a place in your body and I feel some kind of tension that will not let go, I'm going to ask questions until something pops up. And it only takes one or two questions for that to happen. And once that client feels the freedom to speak about that, I'm not necessarily going to respond. I'm working on the body. But when that conversation starts and the client has a chance to be heard, the muscle softens. It's fascinating. It's like our issues really are in our tissues. But when we listen to something, to hear someone is to offer them dignity and respect. It's the same thing as saying, your experience matters to me. Your pain is real. You are not invisible. We all need to be visible to the people that love us the most and to the people that we love the most. So often people carry silent burdens. They walk into rooms smiling while internally fighting battles that nobody else sees. Are you one of those people? I'm one of those people from time to time. I really try hard not to show what's going on inside if I'm not having a beautiful day. And that is not a mask. That is because what's going on inside of me needs to be parked while I am in the presence of someone who needs my undivided attention. And learning to do that is so emotionally intelligent. Sometimes it takes longer for some than others to learn that. But when someone encounters someone who is willing to sit, someone who's willing to make eye contact, to hold a safe space without interrupting or fixing, walls begin to come down. People feel heard. Listening is not passive. Listening is one of the most active forms of love in all relationships. When we resist the urge to correct or to compare or counsel. Ooh, that was my southern accent. Let me start over. When we resist the urge to correct, compare, or counsel, and instead say, tell me more, we give someone permission to process. And in that processing, clarity comes. Shame loses its grip. I remember so many times, and there were many times, I would sit with my therapist several years ago, and she was such an amazing listener. And in the time that she was actively listening to hear me, I would begin processing what was going on inside my head. And by the time that conversation, just on my part, was over, the answer popped up. That's because I was given a safe space to be heard, without judgment, without shame, without counsel. And it was the best therapy I've ever had. Now, let's talk about how people heal. People heal when they're heard because it reminds them that they're not alone. You and I heal best when we are heard by someone else, because it validates the experience. It validates our thoughts. Doesn't mean we have to agree. I don't have to agree with you to sit and actively listen to you without interrupting you. I can literally sit and listen to you talk and maybe not agree with almost anything you say. And there is no judgment. There is no shame. There is no loss of respect or dignity. My job is to listen and let you feel heard. Because in that safe space, your body begins to shift, your shoulders begin to drop, your breath slows down, your nerves regulate, and healing begins because you felt heard. People heal when they're heard. Sometimes the greatest gift we can offer a person is not a solution, but our presence. There have been times when I have sat and listened to someone, and there was no guilt. There was no judgment. There was no counsel that I was getting ready to offer, but I may not have agreed with it. And yet I sat there and I leaned in. Tell me more. Because I could see, our eyes are the window to our soul. I could see that person really needed to process. And all I had to do was say, and that makes sense. It did not have to mean that I agreed. But knowing where that person was coming from and knowing what that person was going through, what they were saying out loud made sense in their situation. And by simply validating that, healing could begin to occur. What if we listened to hear? Because in a world full of noise, We need to be people who can listen. There is so much going on right now, just today, in all the world, all over the world. It is chaotic. I mean, in my head, it was chaotic earlier today, just thinking about all of the things that were happening everywhere. I had to turn that off. I had to turn all of that off and get quiet. But when someone needs to talk because they need to be heard, I want to be present for that. And I know you do too. So let's take one day at a time. Let's resist the urge to correct. Let's resist the urge to compare. Let's resist the urge to counsel and just say, tell me more. I'm listening. I hear you. I see you. And validate that. Because when you truly hear someone, you don't just acknowledge their words. The biggest piece is you acknowledge their humanity. And we need more of that. We need to acknowledge each other's humanity. So as you go about the rest of your weekend and the beginning of your new week, remember this. People need for you to listen, and people need for me to listen, to hear. Until we meet again, have a beautiful weekend, sleep well tonight, and rest knowing in calm confidence that you are so powerful just because you're here. You matter, you make a difference, and doggone it, I love you. Have a great rest of your weekend.